You have to have God on your side, guiding you through every obstacle, every situation that seems like a cage, seems like a no, seems like a refusal. And it took me a long time to grasp that I need this week. I have to go to church. I have to tithe because I don't play about my life. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Jabbar Lewis. If you're new here, welcome to the family. Welcome. I gotta come up with a name for the channel. I gotta figure out something. Star bars. No. Chocolate bars, but not everybody might be chocolate. Oh, we're gonna figure it out. But I really wanted to make this video for a very long time, and it was to talk a little bit about how my faith got me to where I am today. It took me 7 years out of the 9 years of living in Los Angeles to get me to a place where I'm like, okay, we're finally in a stride. We're finally able to move, you know, there's finally some progress. All of the hard work, all of the auditions I went on, all of the no's that I received. And I finally am able to reflect on why that happened at that time. And I don't want to make this video too long, but I feel like it might be. So I really want you to watch this video in its entirety, break it up if you have to, come back to it. But I just want to start off back to like my childhood of like how I grew up. I was not in a church. I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't grow up like being told to go to church every Sunday or going to Bible school or any of that, or even read the Bible. You know, it was about praying, and it's about praying for safety on your way. But it wasn't about actually being in communion, actually being around other people of faith. I had to grow up as from 17 years old when I moved to Los Angeles to now at 26, I had to learn my faith. I had to learn who God was in my life. It took me a while to understand who God really was to me, because God is something different for everybody, right? Starting it off, I didn't grow up in a Christian Catholic type of school or any of that. I wasn't taught God. So when I moved to Los Angeles, it was about the betterment of me, right? I wasn't praying to God for a miracle to happen. I wasn't really relying on being a good person, as the Bible says, to be more like Jesus in order to be fulfilled on this earth, right? I wasn't doing that. I had to go through a lot, you know, and to make it even more vulnerable, I was a thief. I used to steal from my friends. I used to steal from people, and I used to only care about myself. I was a real life narcissist. I was a real life klepto back in the day. And I've done some things at my adolescent life that I'm not necessarily saying that I regret, but it taught me so much as I got older. Like, I think from like 23 beyond, 23, 24, 25, 26, the past 4 years are so much different than the first 4 years of living in Los Angeles. And I had to really, really dive into God. I started going to church. I went to a church out in Los Angeles called Mosaic. It was a church that was close by, but I felt like I was just going because of maybe the people that were going to it, the feeling that I've maybe was receiving. And I don't know, when I used to go, I used to like want to harmonize with the choir. I wasn't really in tune with the messages like that. And maybe I was, but it was for the show. It was for, this is what you should do. This was just something fun to do on a Sunday versus I need this week. I have to go to church. I have to tithe because I don't play about my life. And now that's where I am. So being an actor, being someone who's pursuing the entertainment business is tough because everyone knows this industry is predatory. It's evil. It's manipulative. It's hard on the psyche. it's rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. Oh, you almost got, never mind. After rejection after it's constantly a mental battle. And the only way to really make it is either succumbing to that evilness and being the product of what you're groomed by, meaning you have to become the thing that is evil, that is wrong in the industry in order to make it, or you have to have God on your side guiding you through every obstacle, every situation that seems like a cage, seems like a no, seems like a refusal. And it took me a long time to grasp that. Every closing of a chapter, every rejection, every no, every dropping of, my first manager dropped me because I wasn't producing enough money for her. And at the time, it felt like I'm not talented enough. I'm not enough. This industry doesn't like me. I don't look like the other boys. I don't talk like the other boys. I don't have that same oomph like the other boys. And it discouraged me that I would not make it. I didn't fit this box that the industry wanted. And at the time, I also was very vulnerable to sidekicks. I used to be like, okay, I'm an actor. I used to type to them on their Instagram lives. I'm an actor. What do you see for me? I'm a Sag. Am I gonna make it? I used to type to these people and they used to tell me, I remember this one guy said to me, the industry is not quite ready for your acting. You're good, but you're not quite ready yet. And I took that and it loomed over me for years. For years, it loomed over me. And I'm like, dang, that was right. I used to take that as my God. I used to believe in that before I believed in God. So fast forward to 2019 is when I got to my baptism. My baptism was something that I always felt the compelling to get baptized, to be cleansed of my sins, to get closer to God, closer to Jesus, devote my life to him. And even at that time, I'm looking back and I still wasn't ready. I still didn't quite fulfill what that baptism was. And it took me maybe a year or two after, once the pandemic hit, is when I really started to be like, I know what I need to do. I know what I have to do in order to get to the heights I wanted to. I used to work as a valet at Warner Brothers. And I said I wanted to do that at Warner Brothers because I don't know who. I was such an optimist. Sagittarius, so I'm an optimist. I used to pray every day. I would drive up, park my car in my uniform. I would say, God, one day I'm going to be interviewed by Ellen. God, I'm going to be working on the set in these stages. I'm not going to be coming here to valet these people's cars. I'm not, and I can't. And even at that time, back in 2017, 2018, I wasn't even in the Bible. The Bible could have told me to, I was coming on there with an attitude. I was coming there with not the best intention. Like, I wasn't really there. I really wasn't tuned in quite yet, even walking onto a place. And you know what's funny? God will really place you into places where you are going to be one day you're going to be there, but he's going to place you to be a servant there before he actually places you to be a leader there. And what I mean by that is I'm walking on Warner Brothers every day. I was able to know every stage. I was able to walk around there, to explore, to know where everything was, to know where every building was, every casting building, every editing building, every studio. I knew these executives' names. I was taking their cars every single day. I got to be acquainted there for 3 years out of my life. I then was able to book a job on that set, All American Homecoming, and got to be a reoccurring role. I was able to be on that show and know this whole lot through and through. And it was, I'm now here able to tell a testimony. I'm now here to be like, God was like, cool, serve there first. And I will grant you there. Colossians 3:23-24 talks about, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. And at that time when I was valeting, I wasn't having the mindset of being like, I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm going to be the best valet driver here. I'm going to have the best attitude. I'm going to make the best connections. I'm going to really serve and be like, God, this is my testimony. I know you're working. And maybe that's why it took me so long to leave that job. Maybe that's why I was auditioning and leaving the studio and coming back, because God was like, I need you to get it. I need you to get it. I need you to not have the attitude of, every morning. I don't need you to be wanting someone else's role. I want you to really understand of where you are, Jabbar. It took me a minute. They always say that men's mind grows and develops by the age of 25. So I'm 26 now. I'm about to be 27. And I agree. I just matured. I just figured out who I was in the past 2 years, in the past year and a half. I'm able to be myself authentically, not care about people's perception of me, not wanting to fit in a mold, I don't care what you think of me because I know who I am. God knows who I am. It took me a minute to even learn the callings, because there are people in this industry as well who will try to take advantage of you, who will try to manipulate you into their little plan. Don't let people be your masters. The Bible talks about not having idols, not having other masters, because you cannot serve two idols. God is a jealous God. Oof. It took me a minute to learn that. Don't place all of your value. Don't place all of your money, your financial ship into someone. For me, for instance, I'm working at this. I'm signed at 17 years old. I'm going on audition after audition after audition after audition, in person, by the way. I'm learning. I'm in classes. I'm putting everything I have into this craft. And for 7 years, I am not able to book nothing of significance. I'm not able to move that needle. Why? So then when you have somebody in your life that says, I have all of this for you, come with me. And when you rebel against this because you're feeling this is not right, eventually you feel this is manipulative. This is wrong. This doesn't sit well in my spirit. This isn't my life. This starts to crumble. And this person will say, well, without me, you're nothing. And you won't have anything in this industry. And that's what I was going through. That's what I had to deal with. But I had to really cling on to God. If I didn't have this, I needed to have something else that lasts forever, beyond this. This will get me to the places I want, not this. This person can't do nothing for me beyond this life, beyond my perception of how I want my life to look. But God can be like, you're looking at this as your God, but you're looking at it here. I'm looking at it, you can be here if you really trusted me. So you have to have some discernment of the people in your life. You have to really cling on to the Bible, actually. And, the Bible was told so many times. I see a lot of people say the Bible is written, rewritten. What is true? What is true? I think the Bible is something that you have to grow a relationship with. You have to read the Bible and connect it with your life and see that these are stories that people have gone through, and these are constant revelation after revelation, and you have to apply them to your life. And if I was clinging to my Bible more, I would have known that these are people instantly that you just are not the right person in my life, because it tells you the things that when wicked people come into your life, you are protected, you are guarded, from the get. You can pray about it and it can be done like that. And it took me a minute. So I'm glad that I got to this place of where I have some type of spiritual discernment. I have real connection with God, with the Bible, with people around me. You have to build community. And I'm learning also in this season that I'm currently in is that the mercy of God. I'm now learning what God can do in your life. I'm just like, I don't have a job, but a roof is still over my head. My rent might be late, but I still am able to catch up on it. I still have resources coming in. I still have a car. I still have food in my refrigerator. I mismanaged money so many times and it still came back tenfold. I haven't gone under, and I've seen so many people gone under. His mercy is so bright even in those dark moments. Where people often crumble, I stayed 10 toes down and I kept my eye on God. And that's where it got to me to this place right now, where I'm able to work with people I look up to, people I admire, people I respect. Where you are is never an indication of where you are going. I also have to pray to God often of, okay, sacrifice, right? The Bible also talks a lot about sacrifice. Sacrifice is like, it could be the sacrifice of the lamb, back in the Bible days, sacrifice of chicken, it's all these type of things. But my sacrifice is like, okay, what are my vices? Sometimes I like to smoke. I like to smoke, drinking, masturbation, porn, my vices, things that don't serve me in these seasons, and something that I have to give up in order to gain. So I will say to God, hey, God, I cannot live like this anymore. I cannot live check to check like this. I cannot live not of abundance the way you want me to live. So I had to say, God, I'm giving up weed. I'm giving up alcohol. I'm giving up porn. I'm giving up masturbation. And I'm giving that to you. And I'm going to focus on the journey and what I had to give. And in return, I need financial abundance. I need opportunity. I need this. And it's never failed me. It's never failed me because I also, when I get those increases, I make sure to tithe. I make sure to give a 10%, no matter how much money I got. I recently got a $17,000 check. I gave the church a tenth of that because I don't play about my life. I don't play about God. You need God in this industry. The people who are on top, who are afloat, the people that I know personally, they believe in God. They believe in a higher power than them, and they serve that God. I have people in my life that serves God. I don't have anybody who's like miscellaneous with God. I am teaching my family. I'm teaching the people that's closest to me how you have to come closer with God in order to live a better life. God has shown me that I have to trust him more than anything that's on this earth. There might be a big bag here. There might be something huge here. And it might be the perfect yes in your moment. But sometimes you have to say the good thing's not the God thing. The money, the success, the fame, the influence, everything you want, the material. The good thing is not the God thing. The good thing can crash and fumble. You can lose it like this. The God thing will keep you with all of this and times 10 more. But you have to learn it for yourself. I had to learn it for myself, but I want people to understand this is the way that I got there and a way I think works. And once again, it's like, I want people to follow the journey of me and my spiritual practices, my very human practices, I should say. I don't want people to come off as I'm forcing the Bible, I'm forcing Christianity, but I am a steward of it. I am somebody who is like, this is just being a great human being at the end of the day. Being a great human being, not being quick to anger, not being quick to the flesh, and really fighting against evilness, really being a good person. And that to me is God. God is love. God is power. God is the way. And I'm just getting started on my journey, really. I'm really just getting started. I'm glad to know who God was all of my life, but I'm glad to know God now. I'm glad to know that I have to read my devotional every morning, that I have to pray and thank God before I step outside into the world of danger, of accidents, of mistakes, of being in places where I don't have the full control, but God does. I have to pray before I go out into the world. I have to open my devotional, my Bible app, and read, okay, what am I feeling? Anxiety? All right, I'm going to search up a devotional of anxiety and see what is God saying to me in the Bible right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for sticking through it if you have. Get a chance to know God, even if it's just sitting still, sitting in a quiet room, going in your backyard, going into the bathroom when you're using the bathroom and just being like, what are we doing this for? You know, who am I doing it for? I love you. Thank you so much. God loves you even more than I do. And I hope you guys watch this video. I hope it teaches you something. I hope you ask questions, seek answers. Those answers for me has come from the Bible. But as always, keep being your authentic self. Be an incredible person. Go above and beyond to be a better person. And just live life. Pray to God. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.